Hey everybody, this is Dave from OrgoneGenerator.com, and this video we are going to discuss how to effectively use trend cards. And trend cards are the things right here, and trend cards are right here. So in the last video on this topic, I discussed, I provided an introduction to trend cards, told you what they are, why they're important, and briefly went into how to use them. What I want this video to be is detailed instructions on how to use trend cards. And I'm going to show you, so we're going to start very simply, and I'm going to show you, very basic uses, how to use them very quickly, very easily, and, very fundamentally. But then I'm going to go into more complex formations. And so this video is going to be detailed instructions on how to use trend cards. I would recommend, if you already have trend cards, make this video a follow along. Okay, so I would say get your generator, and for this video we've got the Performer 2400 HD, and I've got a 4x pyramid set along with pendants. So I've brought some nice things out. What I would recommend you do is, if you have your generator and you have trend cards, bring them out and use this video as a follow along. It's meant to be detailed instructions of how to use these things, and the only way to get better at stuff is to do it, right? So I would recommend you follow along. Put comments and questions below. We've got the video here, so like the video if you want, and subscribe to our channel. We've got a lot more content coming out. And if you have comments or questions, put them in the comment section below, and that's the easiest way for us to respond to them, and also for everybody to kind of get the benefit of getting questions answered. So what I want to do is dive into how to actually use trend cards. So as a review, in the last video we provided an introduction. As a review, trend cards are, and I'll show these again, trend cards are pre-made trends, okay? So they are pre-made, you could say pre-programmed desired outcomes or results. In life force terminology, and the way we use the term trend, a trend is an intention. It's a desired outcome or a desired result. So if you want, you can see the cards right here. If you want more money, that's your desired outcome, desired result. That's your trend, okay? As a reminder, and we've talked about this a lot, an operation, as we call it, a manifestation has three essential elements. It has the target, the trend, and then the life energy provided by the generator, okay? So what I want to do is show you these trend cards, as I've already said, are a huge cheat code to using an Orgone generator. They're extremely powerful. We use them daily. I use them daily. Carl uses them daily. Nick uses them daily. So they're an extremely powerful tool. That's why I want to show you. And I love this topic. I'm happy to kind of dive into this with you. They're an extremely powerful tool when used properly, and I'm going to show you how to use them properly. So what I want to do is there's a number of ways you can use them, and we've talked before about framing operations. There's multiple ways an operation, a manifestation can be framed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through simple ways to use trend cards, and then I'm going to get more complex and show you, eventually show you what a complex, powerful operation with multiple trends looks like. So this is going to be, the goal is to have this be very useful. Everything we want to do, we want it to be practically useful, and so that's the goal here. So let's start off with probably the most simple way that you can use a trend card. And as a reminder, it's a pre-programmed or a pre-made trend, okay? So desired outcome or result. So let's start. We recommend, as we've shown many times, we recommend creating a target link, okay? Because remember, target plus trend plus life energy. Life energy provided by the generator. In this case, Performer 2400 HD. the third most powerful generator we sell, potentially the most flexible generator we sell. It's great. I've had mine for a while. And then, like I said, we got pyramid sets, and we'll talk about those. I'm going to talk about the reason I got the pyramids out here is I'm going to talk about how to use the trend cards in conjunction with the pyramids. You know, we talk about creating pyramid sets to link with your generator to create an energetic grid around a space, whether it's your house or apartment or larger property, you know, farm or something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to link the trend cards, use the trend cards in conjunction with the pyramids. Very, very powerful. So let's start very simple, okay? This is about as simply as you can start. So I have my target link here, and as we discussed in many places, you know, it's my name, a piece of my hair, so some of my DNA, it could be a variety of things. And I'm going to tell you right now, so on the back, I've actually done something that you haven't seen before. Created what I call a target code, okay? And this is going to come into play later. And then I want to create an operation. Again, target plus trend plus life energy, okay? The life energy is provided by the generator, so I've got my target. Now I need a trend. So the simplest way to use a trend card is simply to attach it to your own target link. And I'm going to talk about using a trend card on yourself, and then later in the video I'm going to talk about using it on other people. And you know, you can use it on yourself, other people, multiple other people, a combination, and it's very powerful. And we'll talk about ways to set it up as strongly as possible. So let's take a look here. With my target link, you know, all of these trend cards could be useful to me. So I'll go through them here. You know, this is one of the basic ones we have, which is charge with life force. So if I just want to charge myself with life force, all I will do is take it and put it on my structural link. So we got target, we got trend, and then we've got the life energy. So what I'll do, and I got a paper clip here. This is what I do with my own. You could do, you know, you could staple it if you wanted. You could clip it, you know, whatever you want to do. But, you know, I'll throw the paper clip on, and boom. This is a full operation, all right? And then I'll put it on my generator, okay? Or I'll put it in front of the output tube, right? The output tube is over here, and I've actually got the power booster on it. But the silver output tube, so I'd put it right there, okay? We recommend putting operations, you know, either on your generator, near your generator, but you know, either on this, you know, the stainless steel right here is called the charging plate, or the well plate, or beamer plate. So we recommend either putting it, you know, on that, or in front of the silver output tube. Either one works. So this is a complete operation, right? This is a complete manifestation. The goal is to charge yourself with life force, right? So I've got my target, me, the trend, charge with life force. That's what this card is. And so now I just need the life energy, and I put it on my generator, and I'm done. The other ones we have here, just to make the point, you know, again, is, you know, and I chose some good ones. We have so many trend cards. We have hundreds of trend cards. We're going to make, I think, like I said, 120 to 150 available very, very soon. You know, as I shoot this video, I'm also working on that. So let's take a look at this. We have concentration, right? Do you need more concentration to work, to do something else? You know, it's as simple as this. So there's your operation. Put it on the generator. And I'm going to move these. I've told you in the past that I have, you know, I print out a lot of trend cards. I have a whole bag over there off camera. I've got limited space, so I can't show you everything, but I've got a whole bag of trend cards that I've printed out because I print multiple, you know, I print multiple versions. For instance, here's a good one. Restful Sleep. This is a trend card. What an excellent trend card. And the sleep is really about, you know, when you sleep, we go to a place where we connect with Source. And so this is really about your energetic body resting, your inner energetic body resting in order to connect with the Source, right? That's where dreams come from, to the collective unconscious. Sleep is extremely powerful. When we sleep, we connect with, you know, our rational mind shuts off, and we connect with the collective mind, That's what this card is designed to do. It's help you get restful sleep so you can go to that place, rest your energetic body, and make sure that you can transport and connect with the collective unconscious more. So if I wanted to use this, simple as this, boom. So another one we've got, just to keep the points going. I did this one earlier, money. I did this one in the first video. So everybody wants more money. The idea with this trend card is to attract money to you. Now, and I'll show you this next, it can be a good idea to use written statements along with a card, but if you don't want to make a written statement, it's as easy as this, okay? A couple more, emotional calm and strength, right? Emotional calm and strength, if you need emotional calm and strength, here's your operation, okay? And I use a paper clip, you can use other things. You get the idea at this point. You need a target, you need a trend, and you need the life energy. Last one, powerful intuition. So, many people who buy our products are intuitive already. If you want to be even more intuitive, we think this works. So this is the simplest way to use trend cards. Basically, have your own target link and put a trend card on it, attach it to it. And you could fold it. You don't have to use a paper clip. You could fold it if you wanted. But the important things right now, and as we get more complex, you'll get it. So like I said, my target link, my name, my DNA, and on the back, a target code. Okay. Now the target code, and that's going to become important in the next couple examples. A target code is basically, this is completely random. These letters mean nothing. They mean nothing. I chose them at random. It is, in a way, there's a minimum level of uniqueness that you need to have an effective target code. So if I just put 1A, it's probably not that great. But by designating myself, so this is a code for myself. So Dave, this is my name. My name equals this. So you would use the target code in place of my name, okay? If you said, okay, trend for this, this string of letters and the exclamation point, that would basically be the same as saying trend for Dave, okay? And the reason I use a target code, you will see in the next examples. But I want to highlight that. But the simplest way to use trend cards is to have a target link for yourself, have the trend card, attach them, put them on or near the generator. So that's the most basic way to use the trend cards. Okay, a slightly more advanced way, of using the trend cards, and I covered this in the last video, but I just want to cover it again. So we're building on examples. Let me get some more trend cards out here. So another way to use it, in addition to just attaching the trend card to your target link, and we're focusing on doing trends for ourselves right now. Okay, so I've got my target link. It is mixing. It's mixing a written statement with your target link with the trend cards. So that's the next step. If I wanted charisma, if I want to be more charismatic, we have a trend card for that, charisma. I would attach it to my target link, and boom, that kind of gives me, that sends Orgone to me and colors it for that trend of charisma. Something that we use a lot, and I showed this in the last video, is we like to, if you're just walking around, and I'll let you read this here, and you can kind of see how I wrote it. When we're just walking around, say you're walking around the mall or the grocery store or just out doing errands, you don't know who you're going to run into, but you potentially want people to respond favorably to you. So what we do is we like to have our target link, and then the trend cards we want others to feel about us, and I'll go through those. And then we like to write an open-ended, this is a trend link. We like to write, anyone who comes within 15 feet of me strongly feels the attached trend cards. So that's the idea, is that I don't know who I'm going to bump into. I want everyone I meet to feel these trend cards. You could potentially, depending on the card, just attach it to yourself and you'll kind of naturally be more charismatic. However, by specifying it just a little bit more, even though we call this kind of an open-ended targeting, because you don't know who you're going to come across, but it's really anyone who comes within 15 feet of you, right? So it's almost like you're shooting out Orgone into the area depending on where you are. Kind of like, you know, it's just circling and then and being sent out depending on who you come across. So what you can do, and we use this sort of trend frequently. So you've got your target link, you've got your open-ended statement, and you could specify this. You know, this is just an example. You could say, you know, any males who come within 15 feet of me, any females who come within 15 feet of me. You know, specify ages, right? Anyone between 30 and 45, you know? Or you could say, you know, there's an endless number of ways that you could to specify who you want to be affected by these trend cards. And we think this is kind of like an efficient way to use Orgone. Maybe there's a specific type of person that you want to be affected by you. So you don't want to use all your Orgone. You know, we don't have, these machines don't have unlimited Orgone at any given time. You know, we believe they continually produce it, but you want to use the Orgone from your device efficiently, right? So what you can do is this. Have your target link, have the written statement, and then it's as simple as this. So what we've got here, I've got gain favors, and I chose ones that I like to use frequently, just to show you. So gain favors, right? So if you talk to someone and maybe you need something, we've got a card to help you gain favors from someone, and it could just be someone you randomly meet who matches the criteria that you put here on your open-ended trend link. Irresistible, okay? So this is, you'll appear irresistible. Others perform for me. This is a fun one. Maybe you need people to do stuff for you. We all run errands where there's bureaucracy or just you need something done for you. It'd be more helpful if people did stuff for you. So others perform for me. Charisma. You know, who doesn't want to be more charismatic? Influence others, right? And there can kind of be some overlap in these cards, but they all have their own distinct purpose. And I think once you use them a lot, you start to see those purposes and start to see areas where you can fit them in, okay? And then one of my favorites, magnetic appeal, right? Turn enemy into friends, turn enemies into friends. So, so what you would do really simply is this. You've got your target link, and you've got your open-ended statement of who you want these trend cards to apply to. So what you would just do is take the trend cards, stack them up. I personally like to put them on my, so they're touching my target link. You could do it on the front. I'll just do it on the front to make it easy, right? So I'm going to stack them all together. I'm going to put this right here, and I'm going to clip them all together. Whoop. Boom. So, you know, I've got my, back here I've got my target link, and so you can see target code. And then I've got the cards themselves right here, right? And then I've got the open-ended statement saying who this applies to. And if you look how I wrote this, trend for me, I like to say, this is how I do all of mine basically. For me, my name, and then my target code. And target codes will get more important in the next few examples. But this is a nice open-ended statement on the generator in front of the output tube. That's a good way. This is a nice open-ended operation that is really effective. We've talked before, you know, we leave an operation on, we get a result and we're surprised, we kind of forgot we left it running. This is a good example of that, okay? So that's a nice open-ended operation. And again, it's a little step beyond, you know, the original step is just your target link plus a card attached together. This is a step beyond it, right? So you're taking the card and then you're kind of specifying, you're specifying how the card, how the Orgone, you know, you're specifying the trend of the card, you're kind of specifying how it should apply. So it's a step beyond that, okay? So that's the next step in using these cards effectively. Okay, another example of using a written statement to specify how you want a trend card used would be the following. Okay, so I've got my target link again. Now I have two other things, so let me put that here. So I've got this is a great card. I use this all the time. Aid meditation. A lot of people who are interested in our products, they meditate a lot, and it's a great thing to do, whether you're doing it just to stop thought meditation or you're actually doing transcendental meditation. This can help you. So here's the card as Aid Meditation. Now a trend that I use, and I actually use this in the mornings, right? It's good, I think, to meditate. I kind of do zazen, not fully, but when I wake up, I want to meditate right before my mind starts really running. So look at what I did. I did a trend. So this is a trend link, right? This is a trend link, and this is a trend link, right? Trend card, trend link. They're both trend links, right? But I want to specify how I want my meditation aided by the generator, by this trend card. So the way I specify it is trend. I am able to deeply and effortlessly meditate for 20 minutes. Okay, so let's say I just want to wake up and get some water and meditate for 20 minutes. What I would do, and it's good to do this the night before, of course. What I would do is really simple. I would do it like this. I've got my two trend links. I've got my target link. Put them together. Attach them. Boom. You could do that overnight if you wanted. And you could specify, I want to meditate when I want to be motivated to meditate when I wake up. I want it to be easy to meditate. That with many things we all know what we should do, but we don't necessarily do them. And that's what the generator is all about: is giving you that extra oomph, that extra life energy to do the things you should do. So and how you want to attach it is fine. The trend card does not have to touch the structural link, the target link. No big deal. So I could do it like this, right? So I've got my target link, and I've got my trend card, and I've got how I want this to apply, right? I want to be able to effortlessly and deeply meditate for 20 minutes, okay? So that's another way of how you can kind of specify how you want the trend card being used for yourself, all right? So, okay, so the next step in using trend cards is to use them on, to create trends, create operations, targeting other people. So to use your generator and trend cards on other people. So let's again start slowly, and I'm going to show you. So I've got a couple trend cards here. A New Love, which I talked about in the last video, a very powerful trend card, and I'm going to use the Charge with Life Force trend card. Okay, and so I've got my target link over here, and I've got a fake target link of a fictional person named Mark. Okay, so if you see what I did here. We've got Mark's name, and I've got a target code for him. I created a target code for him. Dave, I put mine on the back because I made the target code later. So there's my target code, right? But on Mark, I did it on the front. So Mark doesn't exist, but this would be, any other person that you would want to target, because you can, we believe, target other people with trends, with operations, with their generator. With or without their knowledge. We recommend using our generators ethically. So, use them as you will. Golden rule and whatnot. So just to start simply, if I wanted to charge Mark with Life Force, okay, I would simply do this. So I've got my target. Once again, I got my target. It's just not me, right? I'm here. I've got someone else's, a target link for someone else. And then I've got the Charge with Life Force. And let's see if I can find my paper clip. Boom. So we've got target plus trend plus life force. Okay, so that's how I would charge Mark with life force. That would be a basic operation to use on a third party. Okay, now let's start to get a little more complex. Okay, so I said in the last video that this trend card, A New Love, and there's actually another one. There's two more love trend cards. There's Solidify Love, and then I can't find it right now, but there's one that's a special love. Okay, Love is an extremely powerful motivator, and these are extremely powerful cards to influence other people, to help you, get something you need or something you want, okay? If someone loves you and truly loves you, they're going to do more for you than if they don't love you, right? Or if they hate you. So let's focus on a new love, okay? Honeymoon love. So how do you use this? How do you use this on another person? Because look at the issue, right? So there's me, there's the other person, Mark. I want Mark to love me. I want Mark to feel a new love for me. And maybe in relation to a specific thing, you would do that with a written statement. But the question is, there's two of us here and there's one card. What do you do with it? Okay? So there's a few things you can do with it. So the simplest way to do it would simply be to take the love trend card, put it on Mark, and attach it. So with the intention that Mark is to feel that for you, for me, right? So if I want Mark to love me, to have like a new love for me, to feel the effects of this trend card, just generally, I could attach it with the intention that he feels it for me. I'm kind of the implicit target, and this is where you get into framing. Even as I say it, I feel uncomfortable, right? And then I put it right here. Now, I don't like doing it like this. You can do it like this, and that would work. Your intention when you're making the structural link for Mark, when you're attaching this, that is an energetic connection, right? So if I intend for Mark to feel this for me, then that can work. It can work. What I like to do, my issue is that, the question is who's the target here, right? You want Mark to feel the trend card, but for me, right? So you could frame this in a couple of ways. Like we said, operations can be framed in a couple of ways, or, in multiple ways. And how you would create the connection can be done in a couple ways. So let me just walk through a few, and let me show you what I like to do personally. Because I don't just like to throw a trend card on, and if you see the trend card, so you've got a new love, nothing on the back, right? And then you've got Mark and his target code, okay? I could, there's a couple ways I could do this. I could put, the card on Mark with the intention that he feels it for me. I could put the card on myself with the intention that Mark feels that, right? Both of those would work. So the question is kind of, what do you connect with the most? Now, the way I like to do it is so this is where target codes come into play. So you see me, right? And then you see my target code. Something I like to do is to write my target code on the back of the card. Okay, so I could do it like this. So you see Mark, I could easily just write my target code, which is this. So I could just say, so DXP RK exclamation point. Okay. So now my target code, as you can see, is on the back of this trend card, right? So now, to me, that feels like more of a connection. So now when I attach it here with the intention that Mark feels this trend card for me, now the trend card has my target code on the back. That feels like more of a connection to me, therefore it is more of a connection to me, right? It's all about, a fundamental principle with using trend cards is creating an energetic connection between target and trend. You need to connect with the target, you need to connect with the trend, and you need to create a connection between the target and the trend, right? So for me, rather than just putting a blank trend card on someone else's structural link, where I'm implicitly, where they're going to feel it for me implicitly, I like putting my target code on the back. So once again, here's my target code, and that's what I put on the back of the card. Okay, so now for me, and I think it makes sense kind of logically as well, now this card applies from Mark to me. Okay, so So there you go, target plus trend. So when I talk to Mark or I see Mark, I think that trend card's going to apply a lot more. Okay, so so that's one way to do this. Another way is, you know, I could change it up and put it on myself. Now, Mark's got a target code, right? So Mark's got a target code right here. But on the back of this card is my target code. So what do? Well, I wrote it at the bottom for a reason. So I could do something very simple. I could, you know, I could write, you know, I could cross this out and write Mark's target code and then just put it on my own thing. In this case, I'm not going to cross it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write Mark's target code, and I'm going to and then I'm just going to draw an arrow saying, you know, this applies from Mark to me. Okay? So now that I've written, make sure you can see that. So, you know, instead of, I could have crossed out my own target code and put Mark's. I didn't want to do that. Instead, just to show you another way you can do this, because there's a lot of ways you can do this, all right? I'm trying to show you different ways to give you flexibility. I wrote Mark's target code up here, arrow, so this applies Mark to me. This trend card applies Mark to me. Okay? Boom. Now I have connected by putting it on my, now I could put it on Mark's. You know, I could put this card on, I could put the trend card on Mark's structure link and it would work. Now I can put it on mine as well and it will work. Why? Because for me, the trend card is now connected to Mark's structural link, right? By writing Mark's target code, the trend card is connected to Mark's structural link and it's connected to my structural link by being attached. So this works. Oh, let's see if I can get it on. So this works. I could take it off and put it on Mark, and that would work. Okay? Both of those things work. Okay? Both of those things work. There's flexibility in how you do this. Probably the biggest principle in dealing with these cards is create an energetic connection between target and trend. Okay? And if you have multiple targets, or, you know, how do you situate it? Well, there's probably multiple ways to do it, okay? So don't get too, you know, I tend to get like a little overwhelmed sometimes when I'm making bigger operations. Don't worry about it. You know, connect this trend card to a target. And if you need to connect it to something else, you know, makes sense. This is simple. That's why I use target codes, okay? So this is a good way to to run a trend on someone else, and this is a really powerful trend card to use. So I just showed you two different ways. You know, put it on Mark's structural link and put it there. Put it on my structural link and put it there, and put both target links on the generator in front of the output tube. You would want both structural links near the generator to be energized. But you know, once again, I did Mark's code to my code. I could mark out my code and, you know, put it on me. You know, you could do it. You could do it a number of ways. Okay, so like with trend cards targeting yourself, you can use written statements to specify how you want trend cards to apply to someone else. Now I want to use this example. So, you know, we just went through, you know, me, Mark, how do you want the trend card to apply? You can put it on Mark, put it on me, my structural link, you know, it doesn't matter. So now I brought a few other trend cards here to kind of show you how things can apply. So let's say that I want, make sure we're getting on camera here. So, you know, we've got the new love trend card. I pulled out charisma and I pulled out irresistible. Okay, these are both trend cards I like all three of these. So I want Mark to find me to be charismatic. I want Mark to think I'm charismatic, and I want Mark to find me irresistible, whatever that means. Maybe I want something and I don't want him to be able to deny it. So in the same way that, with the new love, previously I wanted Mark to feel love for me, okay? And I showed you how you can do that. Without writing codes, so remember I wrote codes on the back. Without writing codes on the back, how can I modify these, or not modify, how can I direct the effects of these two trend cards, Charisma and Irresistible, via a written statement? And it can be very simple. So once again, you could do this in a couple ways, right? So what I've done is this. Mark, and then I use his target code, right? Remember, his target code is right there. Mark strongly feels the attached trend cards for me, Dave, my target code, right? And again, you don't have to use the target code. I just like it, and you can kind of start to see why, right, as I link things together. Okay, so Mark strongly feels the attached trend cards for me. So this would be for, it'd be attached to Mark. The trend cards would be attached to Mark, okay? Dave does not feel the attached trend cards from Mark. So that's another. So basically, what I would do is if I want to seem charismatic to Mark, I could take Mark's structural link, his target link. I could attach these trend cards to him, and then I could put this written statement. I could put this written statement with the structural link, link it up. And now Mark will see me as charismatic and irresistible. Okay? I could also... So once again, it's about creating an energetic connection. Okay? And I could do, it's kind of written both ways, Dave does not feel, because I don't want, that's something you have to think about is who do you want to feel the trend cards. You don't want to accidentally, if you're trying to get something from someone, you don't want to accidentally start feeling the trend cards yourself. You know what I mean? That would be like a mess up. You want them to feel it for you, but not the other way. So specify that, right? So, that would be funny. You're in a hardcore negotiation and then suddenly you start, the Orgone starts working against you because you didn't specify it. You don't want that. So, another way I could do this again is, Dave does not feel the attached trend cards. You could write this statement in a number of ways, but I could attach the trend cards to myself, right? And then do it like this as well. So, it's really about creating, an energetic connection, like I said, between the target, the trend cards, and then another subject. It might not be the target of the operation, but, someone else who's part of the operation. In this case, I don't just want anyone to think I'm charismatic. I want Mark to feel like I'm charismatic. So, they're not the target. I could be the target, Like I could frame the operation as that I'm the target and that's the trend, but it applies to Mark. I could frame Mark as the target, as the actual target, but then it needs to apply to me. So that's kind of where it comes in, the flexibility of framing operations. Okay, there's not one right way to do it. You could do it in a number of ways, but what I would stress to you is create the operation so that you to create connections between all of the relevant parties. Nick describes this in a nice way, and we'll show this as we go deeper into these examples. But create an ecosystem of trends, right? So, let's say that you've got there's multiple people or multiple targets or something. If you were to map out all these relationships and what you want, and that's kind of what the software does visually. You want an ecosystem of trends and targets, an ecosystem of operations that all support each other for the goal that you want. I have operations running right now. I've got one. I have 28 trends. For two different people, and as relating to me, there's two other people involved, and I have a total of like I think 28 trends for them, for me. So, I mean, you want an ecosystem, and that's because I have a lot of generators, but you want an ecosystem of trends, an ecosystem of operations to make all the connections, to support what you want to do. I think too often people, they take the broadest thing they want, or they take this super broad thing that's not that defined, and they say, that's my manifestation. Choose some targets. Think about how it relates to you. Create some real relational trends. I think that's when you have a specific target and you have some specific trends, and it's not too big. Like I want $1 billion. That's a pretty big trend. If I want Mark to think I'm charismatic, that's a smaller trend, right? I've got a specific target. Okay, I've got a specific trend. When you start to make things not small but manageable and definable, that's personally where I've seen probably the biggest results. And you can kind of keep working up towards bigger and bigger things. Okay, now I'm going to show you another little bit more complex way to use the trend cards. This is the way that me and Nick and I believe Carl use the trend cards most of the time, okay? So what we like to do, so with the last one, obviously you've got, a trend card, you put it on someone's target link, you specify, who's supposed to feel it, which way it's supposed to go. For this method, the method that we use the most often, what we'll do is we'll use trend cards in conjunction with written statements, okay? So this itself is a trend link along with the trend cards. So there's a number of ways you could do this, and we'll talk about a couple of them, but what I want to show you is just the basic format and the basic principles. Again, all of this is about directing the energy from the machine, right? We believe our devices put out chi, orgone, prana, continuously while they're on, and that you can consciously direct that information, or excuse me, that energy. And that's what creating these targets and these trends are all about, is telling the orgone from the device what to do, okay, and somewhat how to do it, but telling it what to do, giving it that information. And the way you really do that is most effectively is by creating an energetic connection with a target, with a trend, and bringing those together. So what we like to do is do written statements, and if you can see, let me pull these other ones here. If you see, let me move some of these cards. So we have camera space. So if you see, I've got some other cards. We're going to stick with me and Mark, not a real person, but it's a good example. And, all right, here we go. So I've got these lined up. Kind of based on the trends I've written down. So if you look at this, I start off trends for me, Dave, and then my target code. Right at the very top. Again, my target code's right here. You don't have to use a target code, but I like to, and you're seeing why. So then I go and, sometimes it can be hard to frame a card. Sometimes it's pretty easy. New love, that can make sense. So that can actually be framed both ways. Power of persuasion, what does that really mean? So it can be uncomfortable. Like I've had it be uncomfortable where I want someone to feel something, but it somehow didn't make as much sense for me to just attach the trend card to them, to their target link. Like I needed something more. Or sometimes I wanted to attach, if I was doing like 10 cards for somebody, sometimes I would want to attach the cards to my own link, and sometimes I want to attach the cards to their link. So what we do in that case is we just come up with a sentence, a trend sentence that kind of corresponds to the card, okay? So if you take a look, trends for me, my name, target code. Then I do the format a little bit differently in each to show you that all of it's okay and that anything can, that all of these can work. But, I, Dave, easily gain favors from Mark, right? So let's say I'm trying to get a favor from Mark, and here's the gain favors, okay? So, if I just put gain favors on myself without specifying, maybe I would just get favors for anyone I came across, or if I put it on Mark, maybe he would gain favors. You know, your intention in putting it on him would matter, and that would be a connection. But over time, you know, we think that energetic connections do fade. You know, they do weaken. It's good to renew them. And I personally feel, and because I feel it's actually true, that when I do a written trend about gain favors, well, then that's a stronger connection. Because let's say I leave this running for a month. You know, I put it next to my generator, leave the trend running for a month, leave the operation running for a month. Well, when I come back, you know, I might have forgotten. That happens all the time. I'm like, what was I doing? So by writing it down, I can just open up the piece of paper and read it again. By reading it again, by checking the card again, I can almost reapply the operation. So it's useful long term to do this. So, you know, right here, I, Dave, easily gain favors from Mark, and then I put his target code, okay? So, and then for influence others, I, Dave, and then I put my target code. So a little bit different format between I, Dave, and I, Dave, target code. Repetition, like we said, it can be good because it's possible, you know, depending on how you think, but I think in a lot of cases it strengthens an energetic connection by repeating stuff. You can go over the top, but what I'll also say, this is something that Nick brought up that I think is a good point. When in doubt, over-specify. That's something that we both do. So, you know, it kind of goes back to the gain favors. Well, if I put it on Mark and I sort of intended for it to apply to me, but then I kind of forget, I'm not sure. When in doubt, over-specify to really make that connection, okay? So the second one, you know, trend, I, Dave, my target code, easily influence Mark, right? And then I've got influence others here. So I am telling the trend card, you know, it's not just influence anyone else, right? Because it just says influence others. I'm specifically wanting that trend and the power of this trend card, which is, you know, the full trend of influencing others. I want it to apply towards, you know, my influence of Mark specifically, okay? So I'm extremely persuasive. You know, I got a power of persuasion trend card. I am extremely. See, I didn't put my name and I did not put my trend code, so just I am, right? Versus I, Dave, or my target code. I am extremely persuasive to Mark, and I've used his target code, his name and target code every time. I could just use his name. I think it's a good idea to use his target code at least once for me. But use his name, use his target code. You know, either is fine. Like I said, I like doing both. And then a new love. So this is tough, right? You know, for all of these, you know, I say Mark has strong feelings of love for me, my name, and the target code. Now, what I would do with these, and this is where, you know, the framing kind of comes into it, is what you do is I would take this. So this I have this whole this whole operation framed for me, trends for me, for Dave, right? So what I would normally do, I'd fold up the paper, I would take all the cards, all right, and I would put them like this, okay, so put them, so I've got trend link, you know, trend link with the written statements, trend cards, which are also trend links, okay, and I would put my my structural link on it, and boom. So this is how I would do this. Let's do it. Let me get on. So this is how I do stuff frequently. So I mean, this is literally how I do stuff. My target link, the cards, the written statements. The cards correspond to written statements. Okay, and then put it on the generator. Put it in front of the output tube under a pyramid. We'll talk about that pretty soon here. So so that's literally how. I mean, this is literally how I run pretty much all my operations. But one thing I wanted to point out though is at the end, so we've got the love trend card, right? You know, all of this could be framed. I showed you that I like to put it with my own target link versus the other person, okay? You could rewrite all of these, frame them as trends for Mark, and then put them on his target link, you know, and attach the cards. You could do that depending on how you wrote it. So that is possible, but so I think the best example of that is, you know, at the bottom, Mark has strong feelings of love for me. You know, that's, you know, the trend I say is for me, but it's Mark is kind of the sub, you know, is kind of the, seems more like the target of that, the way I phrased it, but it doesn't really matter, okay? I could rephrase it and say, I create strong feelings of love in Mark, right? That would work, and that would be more, that would more match the other trends. But how you frame it can matter. And something else I did not do, I think the love one has it for the earlier example, but when you do this, so when I'm citing my own target code, when I'm citing the other person's target code, that is, if you remember in the love example, I had, I wanted it to apply Mark to me. That's what that is. Mark is the top and then me. So I wanted this to apply, but I didn't have any written statements. So I put this on Mark's trend card, or I could put it on my trend card, and then that's how it would apply as long as it's referencing this other target code, as long as it's referencing Mark's target code and kind of has some direction, right? I don't think it's necessary I did not put target codes on the back of the other cards because I don't think they're necessary. Okay, I think that in a written statement, when you reference the other person, okay, and you reference yourself, that itself is tying it together. That's good enough, I think. You could go ahead and do that, and you could put codes on the back if you wanted. I just don't think it's necessary. If you want to, knock yourself out. When you start doing a lot of these, it can take longer and longer. So that's why I mention it is, it can kind of take a while to get all the codes down. But, just to use an example, if you wanted to use written statements, but you still wanted to put codes on the cards, okay, well, if you're attaching things to Mark's link, maybe you put, my target code on the back, right? If I'm attaching stuff to my link, maybe I put Mark's target code on the back of the cards, So, like I said, when in doubt, over specify, but I don't really think that the main thing is the written statements referencing, all the people. And this is the type of thing where it would be, let's say that I want to, I want Mark to take care of my dog for the weekend. I'm going out of town, long weekend. I want Mark to come over and take care of my dog. He really does not want to. Okay. That's when you would start to, if you're trying to get Mark to do that for you, that's the type of thing where you would create that ecosystem of trends like we talked about, and that's kind of what this would be. Now, another step in all of this, because it's basically 4 trends that are applying to either my relationship with Mark or a meeting with Mark or something like that. Okay. So, in another way, this is a really the written statement plus trend card approach is really powerful. Is I could provide the context in the written statements even more tightly. Like this second trend, I easily influence Mark. Well, if I want him to come over and house sit or take care of my dog or something for the weekend, I would just say I easily influence Mark to come over and take care of my house on this specific weekend, or something like that. I can specify the written statements further and have the trend cards apply even more tightly. Okay, and I like to do that by written statement. And given that I tend to write stuff pretty analytically and pretty fully, I need like a larger. I do notebook paper, so you could use a card this size, but the question is, can you fit it all on there? So I like to do this in folded paper, but so you can specify these written statements. I am extremely persuasive to Mark to get him to take care of my house over the week, over the weekend when I'm gone, something like that. So specify the statements as much as you want. That's kind of where the framing and the art of using an Orgone generator comes in. Framing, it's up to you, and it's a matter of what you can connect with, and what makes sense for you. What makes sense for you given your goals, given your situation, and play with it. The more you use the stuff, the more results you'll see, and you'll kind of be able to figure out, okay, what worked, what didn't work, what works for me. That's the main thing. Written statements with target codes, with trend cards. Connect energetically, create an energetic imprint anytime that you're creating a target link or a trend link, rather written statement. You can visualize the results you want. You can visualize something that represents the result that you want, but energetically connect. Clear your mind, no anger, no fear, just clear, neutral mind when you're making an operation and when you're setting an operation to run. And and repetition can be good. When in doubt, over specify. Okay, so the final thing I want to show you in this video is how to use trend cards in conjunction with our pyramid sets, all right? And this is a really powerful way to use the trend cards, and it's a great use for the pyramid sets. So we talk a lot about, we obviously have our generators. We believe those are a continuous, reliable, powerful source of life energy, chi, orgone. But we made the pyramid set specifically. We talk a lot about an energetic grid, creating an energetic grid with pyramids. And what we mean by that is the pyramids, specifically the pyramid sets, are a good way to expand the coverage of the generator in kind of an intuitive way, in a logical way, and in a pretty easy way. Actually without doing all the extra setup, writing trends, making target links and stuff like that. So they're just a good, easy way to do that. The pyramids are made of iron powder, high quality carbon-based epoxy, and some quartz crystal point. Okay, so what I want to do, so I've got a set of 4 pyramids here, and just to review the functionality of those, let me remove some things. So what I've got is an anchor pyramid. Okay, this is what we call the anchor pyramid, and the anchor pyramid is so all these pyramids, they come to you structurally linked. So we link them before sending them to you. And what we have here is the anchor pyramid. This is what you keep on your device or in front of the output tube. If you have a Rad 5 ring or something, put it in the middle, but keep it on the device. Make sure you can see that on the device or in front of the output tube. And this is the anchor pyramid, because it links all the other pyramids to the energy created by your generator. Okay. And then what you would do with all these other pyramids is you would place them in different parts of a room, different parts of a house, stuff like that. So let me move these trend cards out, because I've got some specific examples I can show you for kind of why we created the pyramids and how you can use them with the trend cards. It's a very powerful mix. So let's see. And I've got some good examples here. Like I said, there's a ton of trend cards. There's a lot of different ones. So I just chose some cool examples. The reason these trend cards are different sizes, it's actually just because I printed them off in different sizes. It's kind of an accident, but they work the same. They don't have to be the same size. They don't have to be the color or anything like that. It's all good. So let me remove Mark. We're done with Mark for now. Okay, so we've got all these trend cards here, and let me show you how to use them. All right, so and I'll do it by trend cards. So pyramids. So we talk about our generators, and if you see, I don't think you can see. You can see a little bit. I've got a power booster here, right? So what the pyramids actually are, we refer to them as batteries or wells of energy or gas tanks. This is basically like an extra gas tank. What we believe occurs is that the generator puts out chi, and because this is orgonite, and we talk about this, our generators generate orgonite. They're Orgone generators. Orgonite accumulates orgone energy. So what we think occurs is that the generator puts out energy, and then the pyramids accumulate it, and they act like extra stores of energy. So by putting these pyramids all near the generator, it's like an extra well of energy. It's like a bunch of extra gas tanks. So now we've got even that much more energy accumulated to direct towards our intentions. Okay, so what you can do is in a trend card to work, if you think about what we've been doing, it needs to be connected to an energy source, right? So what I've been doing is, putting a trend card on a target link and putting it on the generator, right? Or putting, written statements plus a trend card plus a target link on a generator. And the reason I'm putting it on the generator is to energize the trend. Okay, so it needs to be connected to an energy source. But that's where this comes into play, right? Because all these pyramids are structurally linked together, and with the small pyramid, with the anchor pyramid, by putting this, since they're already structurally linked, by putting this on the generator or in front of the output tube of the generator, these pyramids become linked to the energy of of the generator. In a way, this is the same thing as this, right? So if I want to be connected to my generator, I take my structural link, my target link, and I put it right here. I put it in front of my generator output tube. I put it on my generator. Okay, this for the pyramids, works in a similar fashion. All right, because the pyramids are structurally linked when they come to you, and you could link them yourself if you wanted to, but they come linked to you. That's how we make them. By putting this on the generator or in front of the output tube, this structurally links all of the pyramids to the generator. Okay, so since trend cards and trends have to be linked to the generator to be energized, right? So what you can do is, since these pyramids are linked, right, keep this on the generator or in front of the generator. Then to energize trends, I'm gonna take away my link as well right now. What you can do, if I wanted to energize these trends, because remember, trend cards are trends themselves, right? They are pre-made, pre-programmed trends. Okay, they're like out of the box type of thing trends. What I can do if I want to energize one of these trends, all I have to do is put it, near or under. That's what I tend to do, is under a pyramid. So once I do that, the trend is being energized. Okay, so a good way to use these Orgonite pyramids, you can put them in different parts of a room. So that's one. You can put them in different parts of a house, different parts of a property, really anywhere that you want to energize a trend or to send life energy. The way we envisioned this was, I'm going to get multiple pyramids. I'm going to put one over in my garden. I'm going to put one over in my bedroom. I'm going to put one in the living room. We envision this as a way to spread Orgone energy around the house, because what we think occurs is when a pyramid starts to accumulate Orgone energy, it passes it around to the rest of the surrounding area. Okay, so kind of like a lamp in a way. Like a lamp passes light. We believe it. Orgonite pyramid passes Orgone energy to the surrounding area. Eventually, the area saturates as long as it's not pulled from the area. So what you can do is, so let's just say I didn't have any trend cards, or I just had my Charge with Life Force trend card. Let's use this one as an example. Let's say I've got this pyramid, and I've got them all lined up here just to have them on camera. But let's say I've got this pyramid in my living room. I want to charge the living room with Life Force. I could do that, and I could take a picture of the living room and create a structural link for that, or I could just take the pyramid in there. Boom. See? Then that pyramid is going to be charged with Life Force, and it's going to pass it off. It's going to radiate the life energy around the room. Okay, and that's the point of the pyramids. Now, so like I said, there's a few ways to do it, but the trend card and the pyramid setup just makes it easy and makes it intuitive, and you don't have to create other structural links, and you don't have to write trends and stuff like that. So let's think about some more interesting ways that you can use. So I've got some cool trend cards here, and some ones that I just think people would be interested in, and stuff that people have told us they use the pyramids for. Okay, so I've got, once again, restful sleep. Who doesn't want more restful sleep? If I want to, and you can specify these in a number of ways. Like I said, I can say, I could pair this with a written trend and say restful sleep starting at 11 p.m. or something like that, and I put that on a piece of paper. But let's say I want more restful sleep. Okay, I've got the generator in my living room or office or something like that. That's where it's plugged in. I take a pyramid, I put it in my bedroom. I take this trend card, I slip it under. We'll use this one. Boom. Now this pyramid is receiving Orgone energy from the generator, and the trend of restful sleep is being energized, and it's being passed around to the surrounding area. Okay, so if you have two people, if it's you and someone else sleeping, then it's going to be passed to both of you. So it doesn't have as specific of a target. It's not going to target you specifically for restful sleep, though you can do that. but it's going to pass it around to just whoever's in there. You know, it could be you, it could be a partner, it could be a dog, you know. So you could really, it's just it's an easy way to do that. It's an easy way to energize that trend. The trend, right? The trend is being energized because it's connected to the energy source of the generator via the pyramids, right? This pyramid is accumulating life energy from the generator because of the structural link, and it's energizing this trend, this pre-made trend with just the trend card. I could throw a written statement under there, like I said, along with the trend card, but let's keep it simple. You know, so this trend of restful sleep, if you've got it in your house, or excuse me, in like your bedroom or something, that is getting energized. So that's really cool. And again, this restful sleep trend card is all about resting your energetic body so you can connect with source. So it's a very powerful thing. You know, how many dreams have you had that where you saw, or you emotionally processed something, or you predicted the future? I mean, you know what I mean. So so that restful sleep is all about resting your energetic body, connecting with source. So that's a powerful one. Aid meditation. You know, this is a great one. I mean, you could. This is a great one. Let's say that in the mornings you wake up, you want to meditate immediately. Okay, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. Next to your meditation spot, if you're staring at a wall, I mean, that's what I normally do, is I stare at a blank wall. Whatever your meditation room is, or your meditation space, take the Aid Meditation trend card, slip it under a pyramid right next to it. Boom. Now that, you know, this pyramid is basically radiating out orgone energy with that trend, colored with that trend. So anybody nearby the pyramid will receive the benefits of this trend card. Now, could you specify it with, you know, a target link for yourself? Yes, you could. But this is just an easy way to do it, and so you don't have to make so many target links, or so you don't have to make, you know, so many target links for yourself, or so many target links for multiple people. So this is a great one. Aid meditation. A lot of people who purchase our products, they love to meditate. It's one of the most powerful things we've got. Why wouldn't they? So, and with the meditation idea, so a couple other ones I've got. You know, emotional calm and strength. That's a nice one. Concentration. You know, a lot of people, it's very easy to be scattered in our world. Relaxation, stress relief. So, you know, what you could do actually is, let's say that you want to meditate, but you need, you know, you want to aid meditation, emotional calm and strength, concentration, relaxation, stress relief, okay? So let's take all those cards. Let's say that you put them in a circular place around your kind of meditation space. And I got to move some stuff here. You know, if you're sitting right here, you could put all these pyramids around you, and you could energize each of them, each trend card. So now you would be getting the benefits of all four trends. And really anyone who is with you would be getting them as well. But, you know, if you're sitting in the middle here, you've got four pyramids surrounding you. Each of them is energizing a separate trend. You can kind of see how it's going to pass the energy to you. It's an easy way to do it. It's a quick way to do it. It's a powerful way to do it. Like I said, these are extra gas tanks to energize your manifestations. So these are extra gas tanks to strengthen your intentions and to, you know, increase the speed, increase the degree to which they manifest themselves. So, you know, it's just a powerful, simple way to do this. Another example would be, you know, so this is a good one. You know, you're sitting right here, all these different trends. Another good one, all right, so concentration, that's cool. Concentration, how about quick comprehension of new concepts? This is one of the super learning, super intelligence packs. You know, let's say that you want to, you put this in an office, okay. Well, I've got concentration, and I've got, you know, I'm trying to learn new stuff for work. I've got quick comprehension of new concepts. I've got concentration. So you could do two, you know, you could put one under each pyramid. You could put both under one pyramid. That works too. So I could just do this. Boom. So now I've got two pyramids two cards under one pyramid, that works fine. Once again, it's all about the trends being connected to the energy source. How are they connected? They're connected via the structural link of the pyramids. Okay, so you can do multiple cards under one pyramid. You can do one card under different pyramids. And, another example, and this is one I actually am currently doing myself. If we're trying to grow plants, I mentioned that on a previous video. I can put one of these pyramids in my garden. Okay, so with a charged life force or with a written trend, grow the plants or energize the soil, just anything like that. So I can put these in all different places. They don't have to be in proximity of each other. So I can take this one, with my charged life force, I can put it there, put this in the garden. Okay, relaxation and stress relief, I can put this in like a game room or a living room area where I go to relax, and that's where I go to relax at the end of the day. Relaxation, stress relief, put that there. Aid meditation, I can go put that in my meditation room. Restful sleep, I can go put this in my bedroom. Okay, so there's as much flexibility to use trend cards with the pyramids as there is to use trend cards in general, which means there's a ton of flexibility. You can, like I said, you can do what I did earlier, where you're doing written statements plus the trend cards, put those under the pyramid. You can do multiple trend cards under one pyramid. You can do one trend card under multiple pyramids. There's a lot you can do. The reason we made the pyramids, like I said, is to create an energetic grid and to make that grid work for you however you want it. So the energetic grid can be around your property, it can be around your house, and it can do a lot of things. It's not just a matter of course, let's say you took no trend cards and you've got the pyramids connected to your generator. Then you just have Orgone energy. You kind of have like a grid. That's the grid, all around your house. So you can imagine all the energy, and then the energy is kind of pulsing out, radiating out, like we said. Because we think these accumulate Orgone energy, and they pass it on to the surrounding environment. I like to think of them as like pulsing like an Orgone lamp. That's how I think of them. I view this as like an Orgone lamp, basically. So an Orgone lamp kind of lighting up everything, and that's kind of the idea. But you can modify by adding trend cards, by adding just written statements. And I'm going to show that in another video. We've got some videos coming where I'm going to show how to use the pyramids and the pyramid sets themselves better. But the trend cards are a really powerful way of doing that. It's a way of creating the grid that you want, making it have the character that you want, and specifying the utility, the usefulness, the function of the grid. Okay, because you can do that. It's not just about creating a grid of Orgone energy. That's kind of the most basic function, but what do you want that grid to do? What do you want each node in that grid to do? That's what you can do with trend cards. This is an intuitive, easy, powerful way to use the trend cards and to use the pyramids. I think it's a great way. I do it myself. I have these, I've got these out here. I keep one in my room. I put one in the garden. I keep one out in other areas. So they're a great way to, and you can move them around and change the trends. You've got a lot of flexibility. So it's a great way to use them. It's a great way to use the pyramids. It's a great way to use the trend cards. I do it daily. I recommend it. And that's and we'll do more videos on how to use the pyramids apart from the trend cards, just by themselves, and break that down. So that's all we've got for now. So this has been a good practical approach to trend cards. We'll probably have some more information. I've still got to come out with part 3 of the series, which is going to cover some of this stuff in a little bit more detail. But I think if you've watched this and you've taken notes and you've worked with your own generator, I think that you've got enough to really, really do some powerful operations using trend cards. You can start to really see the flexibility. You can start to really see what you can do with a generator, what you can do with pyramid sets, and start to really harness the power of these incredible tools. So I hope this has been helpful. Let us know if you have questions, comments, put them in the comment section below. That's the best way to answer them and let everybody else see them. And we will be back with more videos very, very soon. Thank you very much.